Shalom, Rukuba, welcome. I'm going to be going live by myself today. I think there might be a delay in my... Bah. Oh no, there might be a delay in my audio. I might have to fix that. Might be a delay in my... No, it looks fine. No. On YouTube, it looks fine. Okay, so, I'm by myself. Steven is busy at work, and Christian Gadfly is still being a father to his newborn. I know, how dare he. But hello. It's going to be just me tonight, which means we're either going to get nothing accomplished or we're going to slam through with no distractions multiple chapters of the Bible. I have no idea which one it's going to be. I guess it depends on if chat gets me entirely off topic and we go down tangents or not. I suspect right now, because there's multiple people currently streaming, including David, that there's not going to be that many people in the live audience. But we're going to go through Laban's story. Going to go through Jacob and his 4 wives, and why polygamy is bad and dumb, and then also some of the cute little details. Next week, we're going to do the big, deep, long marathon stream on the Joseph typology. And that's going to be 6 to 8 hours. We're just going to run through it. I'm going to have some caffeine. It's going to be a good time. So that's going to be next week. And then on Friday, I'm doing a live stream with David Wood on the Talmudic Dilemma again. And Wednesday, I will be streaming with an ex-Muslim, his testimony on why he left Islam. And I'll also be streaming with Chase and Andrew. Not sure what we're going to do yet then. And then Thursday, I'll be streaming with Eternal Bread of Life over on TikTok. And then I think I might do a stream Saturday. We'll see. But we're doing like 6 streams this week. So the first of many. Oh, Fazy's here. What up? I have not finished my book. That is well over and over and over. No, I'm not close to finishing my book yet. I am at, so what am I at? I'm at 226 pages right now. And a lot of that is just the unformatted tables that I need to cut down a bunch because there's going to be copyright restrictions on how much of the Talmudic phrasing, like not Talmudic phrasing, but the, let's see, what am I at? 249 pages. 50,000 words so far. So I got a bit to go before I'm actually up to the book being released, but the book will be a bit longer than the Quran. And we'll go through all the errors there. But tonight, we're going to go through 11 chapters of Genesis, maybe. We'll see. I'm going to be ambitious, see what we do. I need to prepare for my stream on Friday with David. So we'll read through much of Genesis. I'll point out the stuff that I really think is cool and some of the stuff that points to Christ and just some things that people don't typically get whenever they read Genesis. But that's great for my book. Are you excited for me, Fazy? If so, thank you, brother. So let's just jump into it. No distractions. I have no guests, so I can be fully free. I don't even have headphones on. I don't think I've streamed without headphones on in like over a year. So unique experience for me. So Isaac called Jacob and blessed him and commanded him and said to him, "You shall not take a wife from the daughters of Canaan." We went over this last week on why they hate their Canaanite daughter-in-laws. Don't marry pagans. Good advice. Arise, go to Padan Aram, to the house of Bethuel, your mother's father, and from there take to yourself a wife from the daughters of Laban, your mother's brother. So go marry your cousins. May God Almighty bless you and make you fruitful and multiply you, that you may become assembly of the peoples. And this is, again, whenever we're like, oh, well, the Bible allows incest or like cousin marriage and all, like, yeah, the Bible does actually allow cousin marriage. cousin marriage in and of itself for like 1 or 2 generations isn't a problem. It's whenever you only do cousin marriage for dozens of generations, that's whenever we get all the really bad effects. So we need to like qualify our cousin marriage mocking if we do mock the cousin marriage practices of some groups. You need to be specific on what the problem is. Anyway, thank you. I'll do a stream on Friday on that, and then this Friday I have a video coming out on the sources the Quran is stealing from that also say Jesus is God, and there's at least 7 of them. We'll go through those, show how they claim Jesus is God, where the quotes are, and I might even show the tafsir agreeing with that source being the source. So, may God Almighty bless you and make you fruitful and multiply you, that you may become an assembly of peoples. May he also give you the blessing of Abraham to you and your seed with you, that you may possess the land of your sojournings, which God gave to Abraham. So now Isaac is actually blessing his son in a way that is pretty based. So before, he had to really like struggle to get the blessing out of his father. Now his father's actually like caring for him and wanting to bless him as well. So he's being faithful to the blessing he already bestowed upon him and the messianic covenant that will be through him. Then Isaac sent Jacob away, and he went to Paddan Aram to Laban, son of Bethuel the Aramean, the brother of Rebekah, the mother of Jacob, and Esau. And Esau saw that Isaac had blessed Jacob and sent him away to Paddan Aram to take for himself a wife from there, and that when he blessed him, he commanded him, saying, "You shall not take a wife from the daughters of Canaan." And that Jacob had listened to his father and his mother and had gone to Paddan Aram. So he saw that the daughters of Canaan were displeasing in the sight of his father Isaac, and in his mom, but he didn't care as much about displeasing his mom because he cared more about his father. So again, we have children showing favoritism to the parents and parents showing favoritism to the children. And it's really not great for either direction. You can have mama's boys and daddy's girls, same thing. But we shouldn't be establishing these one-way relationships within our families, because whenever you do that, you're going to create strife, you're going to create jealousy, you're going to create feelings of neglect and being left out and all these negative things you don't want to have in your family. So, also, why is this not showing the chat on my monitor? There we go. But Allah made it look like they meant that. We'll go through that on Friday. And Esau went to Ishmael and took Mathalah, the daughter of Ishmael, Abraham's son, the sister of Nebaioth, to be his wife, besides the wives that he had. So now he is taking another daughter, or another wife, to have another daughter-in-law that will then be pleasing to his family. So you have pagans and non-pagans being introduced through Esau. So the Edomites are kind of a mixed group. They're more faithful than the general Canaanites, but they're still going to war against Israel later on in time. And then Jacob departed from Beersheba and went toward Haran. Thanks. Also, let me throw on comments because I might miss a number of these. So make big comments. Now you can roast me in chat, and everyone will see it. So then Jacob departed. There was one time I didn't have comments turned on, but one of the Muslims joined, and he just started spouting the most racist stuff with ginger and yellow boy and Jew boy and all these things. And I'm like, okay, sure, why not? No, he called me a ginger gooner, just repeatedly, all caps, over and over and over again. And I was like, what are you on about, my guy? Anyway. Slur. Okay. Garo, if you want to hop on, feel free to. If you don't have the link, I can send it to you. Or if you just want to chill, you can chill. I'm fine cooking. And he reached a certain place and spent the night there because the sun had set. And he took one of the stones of the place and put it under his head and lay down in that place. Then he had a dream, and behold, a ladder stood on the earth, with its top touching heaven. Behold, the angels of God were ascending and descending on it. So this is a bridge between humanity and between God that allows for intercession between God and man. Behold, Yahweh, who? Yahweh, Mike Jones. He stood above it and said, I am Yahweh, the God of your father Abraham and the God of Isaac. The land on which you lie, I will give it to you and to your seed. So now this is a messianic covenant promise, and he's explicitly identifying himself as both Yahweh and God. He's the God of Abraham, he's the God of Isaac. Uh, that's fine, you can hop on. I don't think you actually have this link, so I'll go ahead and, I'll go ahead and send it. Which means I gotta put my headphones on. Oh no. This is God appearing to him physically in a dream, bodily in a dream, and then saying that he is the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and he's reestablishing his covenant with them. So you could say that all of the patriarchs are essentially prophets, but they're not really prophetic. In my head, I don't classify them as prophets proper, but they did all experience Yahweh in a bodily form. All of them, I believe, touched Yahweh, or at least in the presence of Yahweh bodily, which is pretty based. And Jacob, as we'll see in a bit, wrestles him. So pretty cool. And obviously we'll get to this, but this is just Jesus. And your seed will also be the dust of the earth, and you will spread out to the west and to the east and to the north and the south. And so, and in you and in your seed, all the families of the earth shall be blessed. Behold, I am with you and will keep you wherever you go, and I will bring you back to this land, for I will not forsake you until I have done what I have promised you. So the Israelites will be brought back into this land, and they will not be forsaken in Egypt. And then as well, Jesus promises to bring us into salvation, and he is not going to fail in that promise. If you trust in Jesus, you will be saved. He will bring you into the proper promised land. And an interesting super base thing is Moses never touched foot on the promised land until Jesus raised him from the dead and brought him there during the transfiguration. Or if it wasn't raising him from the dead, he like transported him through time. Either way, Moses only touched foot in the promised land because of Jesus bringing him into fruition, into the covenant and the promises he had for him, which is pretty based. We have a pretty cool God. Then Jacob awoke from his sleep and said, surely Yahweh, it is in this place that, and I did not know. So Yahweh is here, and he couldn't tell. God's presence is everywhere at all times. And whenever you are oblivious to it, you miss him. But whenever you allow yourself to be calmed and focused on God, or even just allow God to interact with you and not like be distracted by TikTok 24/7 or, gooning or, any of the other stuff that can distract us. Whenever we allow ourselves to actually focus on God, focus on our relationship with him, he comes to us, he appears to us. So where's Faisy? I don't know. He came on, said that Laban was so bad, and then said that's great to my book. I don't know if he's still here or not. But hey, Jack. Thank you, brother. The gift of membership. We have determined, I don't know if you saw this, Jack, we have determined that Sebastian can get memberships, but he is just the unluckiest person I've ever met. Then Jacob awoke from his sleep and said, surely Yahweh is in this place. I didn't know. And he was afraid and said, how fearsome is this place? This is none other than the house of God. This is one of the first times that the house of God language comes up for like the Kaaba and a lot of the Kabbalistic, not Kabbalistic as in the Kabbalah, but Kaaba-ish phraseology we get within Judaism and Christianity largely stems from Bethel, which is what this means. You got the Bietz, and then you get Elohim. So you shorten this and you shorten that, and that becomes Bethel. I sent one reminder. I always appreciate it, Jack. You're helping me significantly financially support the ministry in so many different ways. So Jacob rose early in the morning, and he took the stone that he had put under his head and set it up as a pillar and poured oil on its top. And he called the name of that place Bethel. However, previously the name of the city had been Luz. Then Jacob made a vow, saying, if God will be with me and will keep me on this journey on which I'm going, and will give me food to eat and garments to wear, and I return to my father's house in peace, then Yahweh will be my God. Well, does these things happen? Absolutely. Not only does he supernaturally provide for him both of these things, because he makes him a very wealthy shepherd, and you get garments to wear from sheep, and you get food to eat from sheep, you get milk and everything else from sheep. So this is a supernatural providing of this sentence. and then he returns to his father's house, and his brother comes and embraces him with a kiss. So the two things that he says, God, if you do these things, you will be my God. You will be my sole one that I worship, that I am holding myself under, that I have a relationship with. You will be it. And he does. And then he is faithful to that, and he rejects the paganism of his wives and of his extended family, and he is a proper monotheistic follower of Yahweh. Pretty based. Now, this stone which I have set up as a pillar will be God's house, and all of that you give me, I will surely give a tenth to you. So again, the God's house language is related to the Kaaba, but it's not the Kaaba, my guy. This is in Jerusalem. This is not in Mecca. Anyway. Yeah. So is the best way to think of the Trinity somewhere near the way we think about humans. This is the way I usually explain it. And we're going down a tangent. You already got me down. This is the way I usually explain it, where it's not correct. Let me throw that right there. This is partialism. But the best analogy in my head, because even like the divine generation of God the Father is the Son, and it's an eternal light source. It never had a beginning, never had an end. It's always been emitting light. And the Son is the generation. It's the light that's actually propagating out of it. If you could use that, but it's still not quite right. My bad for going to me down tangent. It's fine. For the body, soul, and spirit, I am, in my personal belief, I believe that Christ has always been physical. I know some people like ruffled or Jamies whenever I say that, but in Genesis 3, he's already physical. The Son is already physical at Genesis 3. In the Garden of Eden with Eve and Adam, Jesus is already tangible and physical. So well before the incarnation, well before eating with Abraham, at the very beginning of creation, the Son already has a physical form. So you could maybe say that the physical realm has always existed with God, and he filled it, which is actually part of the language of Hebrew there. Bereshit bara Elohim. Et hashemayim va'et erez. Like, you have the bara there, could be the molding. He molded the universe. He molded everything that existed. Maybe out of his own being. There's debate on all that. But he seems to have taken something that existed either automatically or out of his own being, and then he shaped the universe from that. He formed it into being. But I would say that the Son maybe has always been eternally physical, and that the Spirit's always been eternally spiritual, and the soul has been always eternally immaterial. So we have an immaterial soul, we have a spirit that interacts with the spirit realm, and we have a physical body that interacts with the physical realm. We are a body, soul, and spirit as a human, and we're made in the image of God, which appears to be both creative authority and having these like threefold division, because I don't think animals or angels have those threefold divisions. I think angels are spirits and souls, and animals are souls and bodies, but we're the only body, soul, and spirit. Now, how did the angels interact physically with people? How were they able to get women pregnant? I don't know. Maybe they do have a physical body, and they're also image bearers, and they're just not mentioned. Or maybe image bearing doesn't actually have anything to do with the body, soul, and spirit. I am not confident. I don't know, because I'm not God, and I'll find out on Judgment Day with everyone else. But to me, it does make sense to have us being made in the image of God, us being unique and having authority that is unique, even above the angels. And we have this threefold division, and God revealed himself in the New Testament and in the Old Testament as a threefold division. And then the different persons of Yahweh also seem to mirror in some much more grandiose way our own little trinities or little tripartite beings. So anyway, yeah, I mean, this is so, again, I went down a really long rabbit hole with this in my teenage years, but I was studying physics a lot as a kid. So I used to study biology and physics. And whenever I was an evolutionist, whenever I was an atheist, I went pretty far down. Oh, the cat expert has Troy.
Oh yeah, true. Bro, it's been that long. since I joined stream. That's crazy.
That's
That
wild.
was, if anyone saw that stream, it's like me and one of our other friends, we got banned from it
Dude,
because of it. It was so
that
bad.
was such a goated stream. It was
Yeah,
so good.
yeah,
Okay, so
yeah,
those who
yeah.
don't know, because I have so many more people who watch me now who have never seen you. Um, this is my editor and one of my best friends. His name's Garo. He's also the Haket expert. He's the sexy
Yeah,
frog
man.
expert.
Yeah, man.
Because he showed off his wood whenever we were talking about it the last time.
That sounds much worse than he made it out to be. But
No, it was
yeah,
pretty
yeah,
bad.
it was fun.
It
Yeah,
was pretty bad.
you
Yeah,
couldn't see it. No, let me chill. Okay, it's fine. But no,
you could see the outline.
bro, big man tick. No,
Anyway,
but yeah, I also want to join because like of the thing you were mentioning as well. Um, but yeah, because a lot of people in the Old Testament also did see God, like they saw him.
right,
But we
right.
also know if you do see God in his
You
full
die.
glory, you die.
Yes.
But these people saw him and they did not,
Mhm.
like, so there's definitely a thing about that, him being present physically, even back then. Um,
Right.
but yeah,
Which
yeah, yeah.
in the same chapter it says if you see God, you'll die. Also says that Moses talked to God face to face. How does that happen?
Yeah,
Maybe it's because of the sun. Anyway,
real. But um,
Stephen sent a super chat and said, "Sorry to miss this one. Teleported need a new transistor. Listening along. Glad to see tangents are still tangenting. Cool to see God."
shout out, yeah, bro. I've lost a bunch of weight. My room is messy. I came from training just now, so I'm just now getting better. But oh yeah, bro, so
Nice.
much happened. Oh, with baptism and stuff. So obviously none of the viewers know, but yeah, yeah, it's God is good always.
It's been a good 2 weeks for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure, for sure. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Hello.
I'll chill here. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, I got Chris sick as well
Casually
somehow.
dying.
I don't know why.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you got me
like,
sick across the board.
bro, my sickness was so bad. I got like someone at my church sick.
7 people sick.
5, yeah, immediate family members, all my friends that visited me and the boy, shout out. And yeah, and you also got sick, so it's that strong. It transcended the physical. Yeah. So yeah, I feel bad about that, but it is.
Anyway, no, that's good. No, I've just been sick from lack of sleep and lack of
Yeah,
sunlight because I've basically been living in a hole for
yeah,
weeks
fact.
on end working.
Writing that book.
Oh, dude. Then I got sunburned. I went outside, then I got sunburned. So
Yeah,
you can't really see it now, but
bruh. Oh man.
my face is redder. Anyway,
Yeah.
so Trinitarian stuff, yes, that is actually what I would do. And then going back to La Bible, cut me off whenever you want to say anything. Feel free to. Based, brother.
Ooh,
God is good, man.
nice.
All the
In
time.
what way? In what way? I'm really curious to hear that.
Yeah. I always took the visits of the angel of the Lord in the Old Testament as visits from Christ after his resurrection. So like he's going back in time. I mean, you can just say it's the pre-incarnate. Which we'll see in a bit with like you can go back to several streams before whenever we were talking about Genesis 18, but he was eating food back then and all that stuff. So yeah.
You have a dependable God. You know what? Yeah, you have your God's dependent. Yeah, bro. One of them ones. Shout out Ali Dawah. Our best Christian apologist. Oh, bro, got cooked by a triangle and a rectangle, bro. That's crazy.
No, I'll go through the Arab poetry. I don't have that in my book yet, so I'll go through. Just make sure I'll go through some of the sources and see what I want to add. But okay. Yes. We finished one chapter. That's already a win. There was, for those who are not aware, there was several streams where we went over one chapter in 3 hours. So we are already past the hurdle.
Man, this is like one of our Bible studies, bro. Keep going the rabbit holes.
Pretty much, yeah. Now this stone, which I've set up as a pillar, will be God's house, and all of you will give me, well, and of all that you give me, I will surely give a tenth to you. So this is tithing. We see tithing with Abraham, we see tithing with Jacob before the law is set up. Then Jacob took up his journey and came to the land of the sons of the east. And he looked, and behold, a well in the field, and behold, 3 flocks of sheep were laying there beside it. For from that well they gave water to the flocks to drink. Now the stone was on the mouth of the well was large, and all the flocks would be gathered there. And they would roll the stone from the mouth of the well and give water to the sheep to drink and return the stone back to its place on the mouth of the well. And Jacob said to them, My brothers, where are you from? And they said, We are from Haran. Then he said to them, Do you know Laban, the son of Nahor? And they said, We know him. And he said to them, Is it well with him? And they said, It is well. And here is Rachel, his daughter, coming with the sheep. And he said, Behold, it is still high day. It is not time for the livestock to be gathered. Give water to the sheep to drink and go pasture them. But they said, We cannot until all the flocks are gathered. And they rolled the stone from the mouth of the well. Then we give water to the sheep to drink. While he was still speaking with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she was a shepherdess. Now it happened when Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban, his mother's brother, and the sheep of Laban, his mother's brother, Jacob came near and rolled the stone from the mouth of the well and gave water to the flock of Laban, his mother's brother, to drink. And Jacob kissed Rachel and lifted his voice and wept. Imagine this, dude. Granted, these guys were like going to be married. Like, here's a fun little story. I met my wife when I was mostly naked.
Okay, fair enough. As one does.
As one does, yes. She was at my parents' house because she's my sister and my wife are best friends. So she was visiting to watch TV with my mom and my sister. I, in my sleeping state, walk upstairs in a very loose-fitted pajama bottoms. That's it. Nothing else on.
Okay.
And my wife sees me, and I'm like, okay. I had never met her before. I'd never seen her before. I only vaguely knew about her. And she sees me, and I'm like, there's a woman sitting there looking at me, mostly naked. I need to pee. I'm going to go pee. And then I like scuttled into the bathroom, pee, then scuttled downstairs. And I literally had to walk past her both ways. And I feel like this is basically what's happening with Jacob and Rachel. He comes and he's like, hey, yo, let me kiss you. Like, just going and meeting someone for the first time and just like embracing them and kissing them. It feels so out there and wild, these star cultures. And then, this doesn't necessarily mean it was on the lips. Maybe you just kissed her on the cheek, but still, like, you just go up and kiss a woman that you just met is wild to me.
Yeah.
Especially when he's like, yeah, it's very, very much. And Jacob told Rachel that he was a relative of her father and that he was Rebekah's son, and she ran and told her father. So then he's like, hey, I'm related to you, but let me kiss you before I say anything to you. I'm just going to go and kiss you and then cry and then wept. Like, how weird and embarrassing is this moment for her? Like, this random stranger that's likely a bit older than her runs up to her, kisses her, I'm going to assume on the cheek, and then cries.
Riz,
yeah. And my favorite part about this is one of the greatest love stories in the Bible. I love it so much. And this is how it starts out. And it's so awkward and so weird and very real feeling. Like, just such a random hot mess of a dude in doing this. But
man,
that's boldness of
Bible's so, yeah. The Bible's so good.
Yeah, Rachel is described, her and Rebekah are cut from a good cloth. So apparently Laban's family, they just had it for when it comes to women. Because Sarah is also of that family line, because her and Abraham are brother and sister. So we have Sarah and Abraham, who is of that line of Terah. Then you have Rebekah, that is of that line of Terah. And then Rachel, who's of that line of Terah. And then you get Leah. So like those three women got all the sexy. And then Leah got just like, she's the opposite. No, that far. She's called homely in the Hebrew.
Nice.
Like her face is becomely. Basically, you don't want to look at her.
Whoa, that was much worse than what I said.
I don't know if it's much worse than what you said, but
Fugly's like funny, like bro's like, you do not want to look at it. Yo, hey man, it is what it is.
yeah.
But like,
Anyway, so Jacob rolls the stone away, which is pretty based. Talking about like Jesus typology. Literally, the dude rolling the stone away to give the water of life to the flock of his wife, of his bride. Pretty based. And also, the bride is a shepherdess. So the body of Christ is made up of shepherds, pastors that leads the church, and we have the watering of the pastors, and like it's cute. Anyway, so it happened that when Laban heard the report of Jacob, his sister's son, he ran to meet him, and he embraced him and kissed him and brought him to his house. So this is his nephew. Then he recounted to Laban all these things. And Laban said to him, surely you are bone of my flesh. You are my bone and my flesh. Sorry. I mixed up what Adam says to Eve whenever he sees her naked. And he stayed with him 1 month. And Laban said to Jacob, because you are my relative, should you therefore serve me for nothing? Tell me, what shall your wages be? Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the older was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. And Leah's eyes were weak. It's literally the phrase that it is using here.
I'll have to send this to a friend of mine. No,
yeah. Another way you can actually translate this word, the rakots, is basically spoiled, like spoiled milk. So, a fun time. Her face was unattractive, not very nice to look at. Kind of makes you go, ugh. But Rachel was beautiful in form and beautiful in appearance. Now Jacob loved Rachel, so he said, I will serve you 7 years for your younger daughter Rachel. And Laban said, it is better that I give her to you than to give her to another man. Stay with me. So she's beautiful in form and beautiful in appearance. So she has a sexy body, is essentially what this means. Like,
nice.
she good looking. Ironically, this is more of a sexual phrase. So Rebecca is described as exceedingly pleasing to look at in the Hebrew. Here we have more like her body is beautiful, her face is beautiful. So her body is singled out as being something attractive and desirable, which is much more sexualized language for her than it was for Rebecca or for Sarah. Or for even Joseph. Joseph gets the same treatment as his great-grandma? Grandma? Let's see. Rachel. Mom, grandmother. So his grandmother. Genealogy class. I'm gonna do the trees in your head. Yeah. So him and his grandma are the only two that are said that they're exceedingly beautiful to look at, which is more like a supermodel. Like, wow, that person is stunning. Whereas Rachel here is like, girl. Yeah. So, and Laban said, "Is better." Awe, literal awe. So Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and they were in his sight but a few days because of his love for her. So, dude worked for 7 years to get her, and he says that, but they were but a few days. They were mere days in his experience because he loved her so much that he was constantly motivated for her. And we have Christ like suffering, we have Christ waiting, we have Christ being patient for his bride in all these ways. And it's like, oh, well, Christ has been waiting for 2,000 years. And it's like, yeah, but he's waiting for the fullness of the Gentiles to come in for his bride to be ready because of his love for her. So he's patient in his endurance and his waiting for the bride to come. And we see that with Jacob as well. A lot of the typology with Jacob and Jesus are mostly in his bride that he loves and the relationship to that. Once you get beyond that, it starts to break down pretty quickly. He's one of the lesser types of Christ, but it's pretty beautiful. This is one of the most romantic sentences in the Bible. Then Jacob said to Laban, like imagine loving a woman so much that
Bro, I'm
7
using
years
that. I don't
in
know
your
about
days
bro. I'm
as a
using
pickup
that,
line.
bro.
Yeah,
Yeah, just there's that one
you.
gif of this dude just like just taking notes. I'm that. I'm him,
Uh, yeah, Leia got that personality and is a great cook.
bro.
Uh, yeah, yes. Um, this we'll get into in a bit with her having the more kids.
Mm,
Then Jacob said to Laban, "Give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go into her." It's literally
bro.
phraseology there. And that means what it sounds like. So
Okay.
yeah, he wants to hit it. And Laban gathered all the men of the place and made a feast. Now it happened in the evening that he took his daughter Leah and brought her to him, and Jacob went in to her. So they did the they bumped the uglies. Um, especially in Leah's case anyway. Uh that was mean. That was mean. That was
Yeah,
mean.
bro.
All right.
She's just catching strays for no
I
reason.
know. And I'm like, I'm gonna see her in heaven. She'll be like,
Yeah,
"What'd you
bro.
say about me?
Bro, it's like, what did I do?
What'd you say about
Oh,
me, fool?"
bro.
Yeah. No, I'm sure she is a lovely person. We'll find out in the future.
Yes.
So now it happened in the evening that he took his daughter Leah and brought her to him, and Jacob went in to her. So they had intercourse, and Laban also gave a servant woman Zilpah to his daughter Leah as a servant woman. This was pretty common practice. If the wealthy woman were to be married, she would get a servant to help with raising children. They can also be called a nurse. We see this in Genesis 24 with Rebecca. Oh no, Rebecca was 3. Anyway, I would love them to say like Rachel was 3, even though
Bro.
they waited 7 years to get married. And like,
Bro.
anyway, Laban also gave his servant woman to Zilpah's daughter, and now it happened in the morning that behold, it was Leah. So he got drunk. Well, how do we know he got drunk? They had a feast. So he got drunk, went in at night when it was much darker. They didn't really have lights. The best you would have is torchlight. They had sex, and they got married because sex and marriage is the same thing from
Mm,
a biblical lens, which is why you shouldn't just be throwing your thing
yeah.
around to whoever wants it. You guys are getting married more than you possibly could imagine. Anyway, now it happened in the morning, and behold, it was Leah, and he said to Laban, "What is this you have done to me? Was it not for Rachel that I served with you? Why then have you deceived me?" But Laban said, "It is not the practice in our place to give the younger before the firstborn. He is lying. Why is he lying?"
Good question.
He has an ugly daughter and he can't get rid of her.
Oof. Ouch.
It's the reality of the situation. So he
Brutal.
deceived his nephew into marrying his ugly daughter first.
Brutal, man. The
Yeah, the
black
title of the
pills, dude.
stream, Laban being the worst for 120 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah, literally.
that's the
Laban
one.
Laban did not want to have his daughter serve in his household forever, and he didn't want to give her over to a slave. So this was his way out.
Bruh.
I'm
Interesting
gonna
approach.
trick. Yeah, like honestly, I'm gonna trick my nephew into basically graping him, mind you. This would not have
Bruh.
been consensual. So he got graped while drunk by his cousin
Yo.
because of his uncle.
Bruh. Where do you even the sentence got worse and worse the more you just spoke. Where do you even start? Man.
So then he lies about it and then tries to gaslight him the morning after.
Bro. Oh, you know what this reminds me of? We had a pastor, we had a guest pastor last service. Yeah, oh wait, yesterday actually, yesterday morning, because I went to both services. Shout out. But in the morning he was talking about this woman that rolled over during the night and killed her baby. It's like, and then she tried to do a trade. She switched the child with the other woman's
Wow.
child. It's like, this is not my child. So it's like, and he was talking about,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like in the dark and stuff. This bro, there's a lot of
There's a
I don't
lot
know
of
if
really
you
messed up
call them
stuff in the Bible, dude.
pranks. Yeah, yeah. I don't know
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
would call it like it
Call
was
them pranks.
interesting deception methods they were doing.
Uh,
Man, that was
it was
crazy.
just a prank, guy.
It's just
I just wanted to
the
steal your
prank
baby
in
real quick.
question. Your baby's dead. Oh wait, it's
Your
actually
baby
mine.
is dead.
Yeah,
Damn.
bro.
Oh, yeah. So he is lying about what's happening. And he said, fulfill the week of this one, and we will give you the other one also for the service which you shall serve with me for another 7 years. And Jacob did so and fulfilled her week, and he gave him his daughter Rachel as his wife. Laban also gave his servant woman Bilhah to his daughter Rachel as her servant woman. So Jacob went into Rachel also, and indeed he loved Rachel more than Leah, and he served with Laban for another 7 years. And he always saw that Leah was unloved, and he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. So this is something that I see a lot of people reading Genesis for the first time misconstrue.
Mm.
How long did Jacob wait to marry Rachel, to have intercourse with her?
Mm. We said 7, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
7 for Leah. Then he
Oh, it
strikes,
was for Leia.
and he
Okay,
says,
okay.
I will give her to you
Mm.
and serve for me another 7 years. A lot of people read that and they think 14.
Mm.
No, as TRT literally just did. No, it's not 14. He served altogether 14 years for both women, but he didn't wait 14 years to marry Rachel. He married Rachel immediately after he married Leah, the same week. No, again, you don't have to say oops. That's literally the point. Like, so many people read that at a surface level, and that was actually my takeaway as well. I was like, well, dude, that sucks. Imagine waiting 14 years to get the wife you wanted all along, and that's like the majority of the really fun years to be married. So, man, that sucks. You couldn't enjoy the wife of your youth. I can't say anything. My wife is 30, so I'm not gonna make jokes about 30-year-olds.
Bro does not want to sleep on the couch.
Nah, it's fine. I turned 30 next week, so
Nah, I'm
gonna be an unk.
Yeah.
Old man. Hey, anyway,
bro.
But we have fulfilled the week with this one, and we will give you the other one also for the service which you shall serve me for another 7 years. And he did so. He fulfilled for a week, and then he gave him his daughter Rachel as his wife. So it was 7 years and 1 week, and then he got Rachel. And then he owed a debt of another 7 years, and then he paid it off, and then they were free to leave. Although they didn't leave at that 14 years, but they were free to leave at that point. They just didn't. But he served. The reason why there's the week there is because that is the marriage week. It's like the honeymoon phase, or like the honeymoon thing that you're doing. So he's like, hey, be dedicated to this one as a legit wife for a week, and then I'll give you Rachel, and then you can, neglect my other daughter. Super messed up.
Bro.
Again, Laban, the worst. And then Jacob went into Rachel also. So again, like they immediately, and then indeed he loved Rachel more than Leah. And he always saw that Leah was unloved, and he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. So again, favoritism. Why is polygamy bad? Because of favoritism. Why did all of the wives of Muhammad hate Aisha? Because of favoritism.
Mm.
He loved his little child bride significantly more than all of his other women, including the hot one that he married after the child bride. He still loved the child bride the most. And there was favoritism, and then they literally went to war after Muhammad died. The wives were against each other. They were part of factions, and those factions went to war. So they slaughtered each other. Anyway, don't have favoritism. If you don't do polygamy, you can't have favoritism. He always saw that she was unloved, so he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. So Leah conceived and bore a son and named him Reuben, for she said, because Yahweh has seen my affliction, surely now my husband will love me. The root right here, this ruah, is the word to see. and then
Mm.
Ben at the end. So to see my son. This is to see and son thrown together. So literally, because Yahweh has seen my affliction and now he's given me a son. So this is the son who was seen, or I'm seen and now I have a son. And surely now my husband will love me. So she is so broken hearted, dude. Like I feel so bad for Leia. I know I just made fun of her for like 20 minutes, but I really do. My heart breaks for her. Like, can you
Yeah.
imagine this situation? None of the dudes,
Motivation.
she's the older sister as well.
Yeah.
None of the dudes
Oof.
want to marry her.
Brutal.
Her dad doesn't really seem to care about her. Her aunt is gone, and her other sister is the attractive one that everyone does want. So she's like, I'm sure there's some jealousy there and bitterness and all these things. And then she has the firstborn, and she says, surely now my husband will love me. Man, is that such a brutal statement.
Yeah.
And the sad part is it's not even true. He didn't love her.
Bro, your self-esteem down the dumps, bro. Crazy.
Literally nothing.
Yeah.
Islam and war. No way, bro.
Real.
Yeah. It's literally would just be the worst.
Religion
And she
of
conceived
peace.
again.
Sorry. Religion of peace, bro. Just hating, man. You don't get it, man.
Oh man, I've been called all sorts of. Yesterday, I was told that they're gonna watch me burn and then eat popcorn on Judgment Day while doing it. So
Thanks. Okay.
yeah, thanks.
That
Christians
like
are so unloving to Muslims, and like meanwhile, Muslims
my
taking
favorite
glee.
thing. My favorite thing, they might say, bro, no hate like Christian love, brother. You murder people. It's like, bro, just like say of the people that talk about church trauma, which does exist, like for some, but you ask them sometimes, like, oh, I was just forced to go to church on Sunday and eat like their food, bro.
Right.
Big man thing, but yeah.
No, I had a discussion. So the video has been popping off. I had a discussion on the latest video for the Talmudic dilemma with a Muslim, and I was talking about how Christians are more persecuted than Muslims, and it's mostly by Muslims that were persecuted. And he was like, "Oh, I bet you watch a ton of Fox News. Not everything's about America." I'm like, brother, what are you on about? I'm talking about like Syria, Lebanon, Nigeria. Like, what are you talking about? And I was like, I literally have a friend who had to flee his country because he was being chased by ISIS.
It's a miracle I'm here, bro. The bus story, literally, bro.
Right, yeah.
Which I keep forgetting. Yeah. I keep forget. My friend that came here for vacation, he kept trying to tell me, bro, tell that story during my testimony of my baptism. I forgot it like 3 times. It just never came out. But
it's you had literal video, terrorists point guns at you.
Yeah, it's like bro, it's so good.
But, man, Middle East is so peaceful.
Yeah, it's just the most peaceful region.
Yeah,
man. Fox News, bro.
Yeah. How many countries did you have to flee from because of Islam?
Technically 1,
3?
but if you look at Syria. Oh wait, okay. Also Armenian, Ottoman Empire, Muslim. So that was a thing as well. But obviously that wasn't me. That was my ancestors. So it's not that has nothing to do with me. But Syria was 1. And also you just look at that region of the world. But yes, Nigeria pray for Nigerian Christians as well. Actually, there's one thing. It's kind of off topic, but I found cool. I forgot what that one Moroccan Christian was. He's pretty popular. He was on he had a debate with like Hakikachu and stuff on Beth David's podcast. But him and like some Moroccan Christians recently, actually, they finished up the Bible translation that they've been working on for 26 years of the Moroccan Arabic dialect. So now Moroccans have their own Bible in their dialect that they can read because of these people. So it's just off topic, but I wanted to mention it because we're talking about Arabs. But
Brother Rakid?
Yes, I think he was involved in it. I have to look it up because this probably a cap. I don't know because I just saw it on my feed one time. But you wouldn't really lie about something like that. But
Mm.
I will verify. But yeah, aside from that, yeah, you count Syria and every other country that's just because
On the way out.
Muslims, it's not
Yeah.
Muslim versus Christian or Muslim versus Jewish. Sometimes it's literally Muslim versus Muslim. Like even in their own circles, they just go to war
Yeah.
and just is destruction. That's how
Yeah.
a lot of the countries just like that was their issue. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not, yeah, it's not just
Yeah.
a outsider problem. But
Yeah, to flee away from Islam, and then now Islam is coming to you.
yeah, man.
Yep. Yes,
Shout
absolutely.
out.
Okay. The big JC. So
Sheesh.
then had a eyelash get stuck on my teeth. That's weird.
Wow.
Because Yahweh has heard that I am unloved. It was the jinn. He has therefore given me the son also. So she named him Simeon. So the Shama, Israel, to recite is the phrase there. So now she has 2 boys, and she conceived again and bore a son, and said, "Now this time my husband will be joined to me, because I have borne him 3 sons." Therefore, he was named Levi, which is pretty base. That comes from lava. So to join together is Levi. We have here that now my husband's going to be loving me. Now, I'm unloved. I'm still unloved. My husband's going to love me. Like this is all cope. And she conceived again and bore a 4th son, and said, "This time I will praise Yahweh." Therefore, she named him Judah. And then she stopped bearing. So, Phasey, okay. And she conceived and bore again. She has 4 boys. Whenever she stops focusing on the love that she's not getting from her husband, and instead is focusing on praising God, that's whenever she finds completeness. But she doesn't actually stay in that. She doesn't let that be her focus. She is still just going back to trying to achieve something that's not going to happen, achieving a love of a husband that never wanted her to begin with. And instead of finding contentment in God and in her children and her family, she is instead forced and stuck into this kind of terrible situation. Now, granted, she very well likely went along with the graping plot with her father, but it was still pretty messed up. And she still, did it. I have the brother Rashid thing.
Yeah. So yeah,
The
it
rock
was
thing.
true. It was real.
Yeah. 1999, bro. I'm so old. I remember
Yeah,
1999.
bruh. But yeah,
uh,
uh,
unk, dude. Anyway. Therefore, I mean, Judah just means like to praise or praise God. Um, Whenever she finds contentment in God, then she stops bearing, because she doesn't need to bear children to receive love from her husband. She's not going to get it. When Rachel saw that she bore Jacob no children, so she became jealous of her sister. Now, this is the reverse. So, whereas Leah was likely jealous of her entire life, now we have Rachel being jealous of her sister. Because even though Rachel is beautiful and attractive and desirable, Leia is actually producing the thing that in that culture was the feminine thing. So if you can't have children, you were kind of lesser as a woman in the eyes of that culture. So her sister, who on the surface level was lesser, was actually greater when it came to her fulfillment as a mother and as a wife than Rachel did. So it's the reverse. It's not reading a book by its cover, but it's like actually knowing the content of someone, and it's pretty cool. Don't judge a book by its cover. Make sure that your inner qualities are better than your outer qualities, and all that fun stuff. Also, I have something stuck in the back of my throat, and it is making it so uncomfortable to talk.
sheesh.
So if I make any disgusting noises hacking, I apologize beforehand. I'm trying not to, but if I do, that is why. It's because I'm slightly choking on like congealed snot, because I've been sick for a while. So Then Rachel saw that she bore Jacob no children, so she became jealous of her sister. And she said to Jacob, "Give me children or else I will die." So we have, to
Down
begin with,
bad.
basically the same state for Leah for years. Remind you, every time they have a kid, it's at least a year passing, if not 2 years passing. As you know, the standard number is about 2 years per kid. So you could easily say it's about 6 years that have passed. And then now she's like, "Give me children or else I will die." Because it's 8 children, so or 4 children, so about at least 8 years, 8 to 10 years of nothing. So Rachel is kind of down bad. She's like, this. It's been almost a decade of her not having any kids, while her sister is able to get pregnant 4 times. So then Rachel's
Jeez.
like, what's wrong? It has to be something wrong with me. But she is blaming Jacob. "Give me children or else I die." It's just brutal, dude.
She used her ult. It's good shit. Bruh. I need your children or I'm dying. Bro, ult. Popped ult.
Threaten end life.
Yeah.
It's my ultimate move.
Man. It's like, okay, wait, actually.
Then Jacob's anger burned against Rachel, and he said, "Am I in the place of God who has withheld from you the fruit of the womb?" And she said, "Here is my maidservant Bilhah. Go in to her, so that she may bear on my knees, that through her I too may attain children." This is an idiom, basically. I can bear. She will bear in place of me, but literally just go have sex with her. Is like what she's saying to him. So she gave him her servant woman Bilhah as a wife, and Jacob went in to her. Now this is literally a wife, Isha. The L there is just a preposition. It's a grammatical structure, but this is just Isha. So this is literally a wife. It's not a concubine. So he had 4 wives. This is slightly different than Sarah with wow, I can't think of her name right now. Hagar. Hagar was not in the same place as a wife. They didn't have the same relationship. They didn't have the same you could say covenant, but like they didn't have the same inheritance. They didn't have the same status. Whereas Bilhah and Zipporah, they're literally wives. They have the same stuff. So how did you not know? I already went over this. They had a feast. He was likely very drunk, and it was dark. Also, whenever you're having sex, you're not like, remember, they can't see anything. They have no lights. They're in a tent. There's no starlight. You
We
don't
don't
know
have
who the person
electricity
is.
yet.
Yeah, he goes in first, and then she comes in after, which is also the practice. So he's waiting for his wife to enter into the tent. A woman enters into the tent. He feels her body. He's enjoying her body. He's not thinking about who this woman is. He's like, yeah, this is obviously my wife, who I've
Probably,
yearned
yeah.
for 7 years. And he's also either drunk or tipsy. He's not thinking about, oh, am I being tricked? Why would you think, oh, am I being tricked? Like, no. He just trusts that, yeah, the woman I'm having intercourse with right now is the woman that I just spent 7 years working to achieve.
Bro's
That's
too excited.
just it. Yeah. So, I mean, again, I don't know about you, Faisy. I don't know, like, if you're married or not, or like what your status is if you ever had intercourse with a woman. Men do a really bad job of thinking whenever they're horny.
Yeah. Tends to be the case.
Especially if they've had stuff to drink. Very bad case of thinking about what's happening in the moment. So,
especially something as niche as like, oh,
being
a
tricked
woman.
into,
Yeah, like another woman walked into my tent that I assumed it was my. I'm like,
yeah, on my wedding night.
see, and yeah, like,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah. You should have. It's pretty based. Highly recommend it. Children are a intense experience. If you want to have kids, have kids. If you don't want to have kids, pray about it. But I would recommend everyone who wants to get married to get married. It's pretty awesome. Marriage is a good thing, and the devil hates it. So, and he goes into Bilhah. Bilhah conceives and bears Jacob a son. Then Rachel said, God has rendered justice to me and has indeed listened to my voice and has given me a son. Therefore, she named him Dan. And Dan is related to Din, which is the word for judgment or judgment day. So, like, it's the same in Arabic. It's the same word. So, like, the day of judgment, Yom al-Din. Same phrase. It's in both Hebrew and Arabic. Oh, how did it get there? But I never said you're drunk, Faisy.
Bro. Sounds like you are, bro. I'm just kidding.
No, I said Jacob.
Yeah, Jacob.
Yeah. Right. No, I was saying if you're horny as a dude, you're not going to be thinking straight. Not if you're drunk or not. As unrelated. You could be entirely sober in that situation and still do that. Still make that mistake. But oh, you might be responding to your team. I see that. Anyway, then Rachel said, God has rendered justice to me and has indeed given me a son, therefore I named him Dan. And Rachel's servant woman Bilhah conceived again and bore Jacob a second son. So Rachel said, with mighty wrestlings I have wrestled with my sister, and I have indeed prevailed. She's still down 2 kids, but she's like, I'm prevailing. She's not having any kids, and my servant is having kids. I'm not having any kids, but my servant is. Let's go. And she names him Naphtali. And it's like,
bro.
And it is from the word wrestling. So then Leah saw that she had stopped bearing, so she took her servant woman Zilpah and gave her to Jacob as a wife. Again, literally as an Isha. So this is a higher status of relationship than a lot of these other relationships that are discussed in the Bible. Yeah, Dan is an interesting tribe. And they definitely appear to be abrogated out of the blessings of Israel in Revelation. But that could be its own video, its own stream, just going over that. The genealogies in Revelation and why they're different and how they're different in Deuteronomy compared to Genesis even. So pretty cool Bible study and topic to go down. But God is not happy with them, to say that least. And Leah's servant woman Zilpah bore Jacob a son, and Leah said, how fortunate, so she named him Gad. And then Leah's servant woman Zilpah bore Jacob a second son, and Leah said, happy am I, for women will call me happy, so she named him Asher. In the days of the wheat harvest, Reuben went and found mandrakes in the field and brought them to his mother Leah. This is a pretty interesting thing with the mandrake. Also, Asher, Shemech is the word for happy. Like you're happy about something. It's interesting to me that only S, the shin here, is in both words. So I'm not sure if there's another word for happy. Is there a biblical difference? To be called happy in biblical Hebrew is a different root than modern Hebrew. Interesting, I didn't know that. Learning things as I go. So, it's part of the problem with learning both the ancient version and the modern version at the same time. A lot of those words are different. Like Gavir, we don't say Gavir at all in the Bible, but they say it all the time now. Gavir just means man, but you don't ever hear about man. You hear of Ish or Adam or any of the other ones.
True.
Asheri means blessed. Yeah. See, this is why we need Stephen to correct me on my Hebrew all the time. Yeah. In the days of the wheat harvest, Reuben went and found mandrakes in the field and brought them to his mother Leah. And Rachel said to Leah, please give me some of your son's mandrakes. And she said to her, is it a small matter for you to take my husband? Would you take my son's mandrakes also? So Rachel said, therefore, he will lie with you tonight in return for your son's mandrakes. So Rachel is selling her husband to have intercourse with Leah. Interestingly, the same thing happens with Muhammad and Aisha.
Bruh.
People would give Aisha gifts, and people would give Muhammad extra time with Aisha in order to gain favor with Muhammad. Interesting. Polygamy, bad. But then Jacob came in from the field in the evening, and Leah went out to meet him and said, "You must come into me, for I have surely hired you with my son's mandrakes. You must have intercourse with me, for I have surely hired you with my son's mandrakes."
Bruh.
She is literally pimping him out. So he lay with her that night. And God listened to Leah, and she conceived and bore Jacob a fifth son. And Leah said, "God has given to me my wages because I gave my servant woman to my husband." So she named him Issachar. And Leah conceived again and bore a sixth son to Jacob. And Leah said, "God has gifted me a good gift. This time my husband will honor me because I have borne him 6 sons." So she named him Zebulun. At this point in time, Reuben is already like 20 or 30 years old, by the way. He is a full-on adult by the time that this 10th son is born, or the 9th son is Zebulun. So we have a bunch of kids already born. Leah herself bore half of his children, over half, because she also had Dinah. So she had 7 out of 13 kids for him. Now, what is a mandrake?
Oh, bro, forgot.
In pagan belief, a mandrake is a screaming little radish dude that is kind of like an imp. Like it's a vegetable imp.
It is a plant as well.
It's
That's why I was confused. Yeah.
Yes. So what in the world is this thing here with the dudai? What is that? The roots of it is actually love apple. Now apple is tepuach, but the duda there is the idea is it is a fruit of love, and it's an aphrodisiac that was associated with fertility. Okay, so Rachel realized that her what would that be? Nephew, son-in-law? Yeah. All of Leah's kids are Rachel's nephews and her son-in-law. And stepson. So nephew, son-in-law, stepson. So Rachel's nephew, son-in-law, stepson, Reuben, found some basically love potions. And she believed, hey, that fruit will make me be able to conceive. She believed, she was so desperate in having kids for herself that she traded her husband away for something that she thought would help her conceive a kid. So she is literally trading, she's pimping out her husband for a fruit that she believes will open her womb and allow her to have kids on herself, by herself. It's also why Leah doesn't want to give them to Rachel, because Leah wants to hoard them for herself. She's like, no, I want to have more kids. And then she eats it, then she has, 3 more kids. Yeah, she has 2 sons and a daughter.
Jeez.
She has 3 more sons. But during this time, we also have God remembers Rachel, and God listened to her and opened her womb. So God is opening her womb, but she's also believing that the mandrakes are going to open her womb, which is interesting. And so she conceived and bore a son and said, "God has taken away my reproach." So she named him Joseph, saying, "May Yahweh give me another son." Now it happened when Rachel was born Joseph, that Jacob said to Laban, "Send me away that I may go to my own place, into my own land. Give me my wives and my children for whom I have served you. And let me go, for you yourself know my service which I have rendered you." Now, mind you, how long has he been serving after marrying Leah and Rachel? He's had 12 children.
Sheesh.
It's at least 15 years, if not like 20 or 25.
Probably, yeah.
It's a good bit of time. He only promised to do 7. So he is, double to triple to quadruple the time that he said that he was going to serve in his household. So crazy amount of time that he is spending in Laban's house. Also, thank you, brother.
Yes, thank you so much. We try. We try.
Um, yeah, I'm not going to respond to that comment. Anyway, that's a super long time. Crazy. You'd be retiring from most jobs nowadays. And he says, send me away. And Laban, again, lied to get Leah off of him, and then said, yeah, you'll just serve me another 7 years. And he says, hey, my time has been well past served. And then Laban says, if now I have found favor in your sight, stay with me. I have interpreted an omen that Yahweh has blessed me on your account. I have interpreted an omen. Sure.
Bruh.
And he continued to stay. Name me your wages and I will give it. But he said to him, you yourself know how I've served you and how your livestock have fared with me. For you had little before I came, but has spread out to a multitude, and Yahweh has blessed you at every step of mine. But now, when I shall provide for my own household also. But now, when shall I provide for my own household also? So Laban has been blessed for decades, literal, because you also have to imagine the 7 years before he got his wives. So this is like 25, 30, 35 years that he's been with Laban. He's an older man now. He's a full-on man. He came as a boy. He's a full-on man now. He's in his 50s, in his 60s. Older dude. His wives are older. They're getting towards the end of childbearing, which also might be why Rachel died, is because she may have been too old, and the older you get in childbearing, the more complications you can have.
Yeah.
So, but we have this dude is so... What word should I use? Greedy. I'll use that word. He's so greedy that he sees all the blessing that he's gotten by the service of his nephew / stepson. And he is saying, hey, stepson, son-in-law, nephew / son-in-law. He's saying, hey, I could just let you go. I promised to let you go a long time ago. You continued to serve with me. Cool. I appreciate that. You can go. You've made me absurd, like stupidly wealthy. You've made me stupidly wealthy. I have enough wealth to live the rest of my life and to bless my children and my grandchildren. I'll be fine. He could say that. He doesn't. He doesn't even have sons to give inheritance to. It's literally just his 2 daughters that are with him. And he's like, oh, I don't want to lose the inheritors, which would be his grandchildren. And he also doesn't want to lose the great shepherd he has, even though he has other servants. That could be his shepherd. So he's being extremely greedy and extremely selfish and trying to keep it all. He's trying to have his cake and eat it too, and not honor the covenant, the relationship, the promise that he made. So he's being essentially a liar, being greedy, breaking his oaths, and then also being dishonest in how he's treating him with his wages, which we'll soon see. And God does not respond kindly to that. So he said,
this is the greed they talk about in the Bible, literally. Right?
Yeah. What shall I give you? And Jacob said, you shall not give me anything. If you will do this one thing for me, and I will gain pasture and keep your flock. Let me pass through your entire flock today, removing from there every speckled and spotted sheep, and every black one among the lambs, and the spotted and speckled among the goats. And such shall be my wages. So my righteousness will answer for me later when you come concerning my wages. Everyone that is not speckled or spotted among the goats and black among the lambs, if found with me, will be considered stolen. And Laban said, behold, let it be according to your word. So he removed on that day the striped, the spotted male goats, and all the speckled and spotted female goats, everyone with white in it, and all the black ones among the sheep, and gave them into the care of his sons. And he put a distance of 3 days' journey between himself and Jacob was pasturing the rest of Laban's flocks. Then Jacob took fresh rods and poplar and almond and pine and plane trees, and he peeled white strips in them, exposing the white which was in the rods. He set the rods which he peeled in front of the flocks in the trough, that is, in the watering channels, where the flocks came to drink, and they mated when they came to drink. Because you get a good thirst, and then you get thirsty. So the flocks mated by the rods, and the flocks brought forth striped, speckled, and spotted. This is not genetics, mind you. This is not him like concentrating the mutation for speckled and striped and spotted lambs. No, these are the pure white lambs that are producing these things at an exorbitant rate. So this is a miracle. This is not something that can be naturally described. So if you're thinking, oh, well, he's like making a herd of these animals, obviously they're going to produce more of these animals statistically through genetics. That's not what's happening. He has his own flock separate. He's still taking care of Laban's flock, and Laban's flock that has none of them is still producing an absorbent amount of striped and speckled lambs. But why does Laban agree to these wages? Because Laban says, behold, let it be according to your word. He's super happy about this. How common are these animals that are speckled and spotted and black among a group of white sheep?
Not very, I'm assuming.
Not very at all.
Yeah.
Not very at all. So this is my dude saying, hey, give me like 1% of your stuff and I'll take that as my wages.
Sheesh.
Like this is below minimum wage.
Yeah.
That he's asking for. And Laban's like, yeah, sure, deal. So not only is he abusing this man in so many different ways throughout the relationship, even though they're literally family, he's abusing him. He also then, his righteous nephew that he's been abusing all this time is saying, hey, I don't want to take your flock away from you. Let me just take the least of them. Let me just take a few of them. And then I will leave the rest of your flock alone. He's like, do you want to take like 10 of them? Cool, you do that. But you still serve me. So he is very, 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 very happy about this low wage that he's paying his family. And it's just really, really annoying. And God supernaturally provides more of them. So they mated by these rods, and then they kept producing these animals. And Jacob separated the lambs and made the flock's face toward the striped and all the black in the flock of Laban. And he set his own herds apart and did not set them with Laban's flock. So talking about like the typology of Jesus and like how he separates his fold from the Gentiles, the ones who reject him. So Laban is representing those who reject Christ, maybe even Satan, and Satan's flock, those who reject Christ. And then you have Christ's flock that looks to him, looks to his stripes, looks to his spots, look to his wounds, and are known by him. We are covered with the stripes of Christ, you might say. So neat little thing. Now it would be that whenever the stronger of the flock were mating, Jacob would place the rods in the sight of the flock in the trough, so they might mate by the rods. But when the flock was feeble, he did not put them in. So the feebler were Laban's and the stronger Jacob's. And you could say, oh, well, Jacob is being a little misleading here. But the dude has gone through quite a bit. I don't blame him even a little bit. You could say this is wrong for him to do, but I get it.
Valid crush.
Yeah, literal valid crash out. So the man spread out exceedingly and had large flocks and female and male servants and camels and donkeys. Then Jacob heard the words of Laban's sons, saying, Jacob has taken away all that belonged to our father, and from what belonged to our father, he has made all this wealth. So, Laban's sons are... Oh, I misspoke earlier whenever I said Laban didn't have sons. He does. Misspoke. I'll take my lashings after the stream. Jacob has taken away all that belonged to our father. You gonna lash me?
Oh, really? Yeah, man. Amen.
I get it, man. Can't make any mistakes. You make a mistake, you must be punished. Eternal damnation and torture.
Yep.
Every mistake. Anyway.
Christ didn't die for nothing. We can't be perfect, unfortunately.
No. Anyway, Jacob has taken away all that belonged to our father, and from what belonged to our father, he has made all this wealth. And Jacob saw the face of Laban. Behold, it was not friendly toward him as formerly. So now he's like, oh, my uncle's crashing out. And then Yahweh said to Jacob, return to the land of your fathers and to your kin, I will be with you. Now he's telling him to return. This is after he's already made this promise with Yahweh that he would serve him if he did these things. So Jacob sent and called Rachel and Leah to his flock in the field. He said to them, I see your father's face, that it is not friendly toward me as formerly, but the God of my father has been with me. You also know that I've served your father with all my power, yet your father has cheated me and changed my wages 10 times.
Is he Jewish? No, I'm just kidding. So we're not anti-Semitic. It's a joke. Sheesh, he got sheesh.
Mazel tov on your bar
Have that
mitzvah.
ready,
Yes.
bro. So
I got my made in Israel paraphernalia.
Plus $7,000.
Yeah. Oh wait. Hold on.
Oh yeah, show the hey man, show the real me. Oh. Bro got the gift of the century from one of Steven. Actually, shout out if you're in chat still. Steven, you have to realize if you're still watching how difficult it was to hide that information from him when he showed that memorabilia. I was like, is that what he got you? But no, luckily he didn't find out. Sheesh. We got the scroll, boy.
I have my Torah scroll as well. So I gotta get my
That's so sick. Bro. You know Hebrew? Read all of it right now.
Yeah.
Name every Hebrew word.
Recite the whole Hebrew dictionary right now.
But yeah,
there's only 4,000 biblical Hebrew words besides names and places.
Yeah.
So I do. Wait, hold on.
Oh, but yeah, shout out Steven, the GOAT. We just read facts. Okay. So
I have my pointer as well. So I got the legit setup for my scroll. We just read. Imagine bringing this to a debate, and just like
just low-key though. That would be such a Chad move.
I'm gonna bring this to one of the debates. Just be like,
bruv, you pull this out, it's over. Like you win automatically. Just like, let me.
Yeah.
Just sick.
Pretty based. That is currently in Shemot. So I will need to eventually roll this all the way over to Better Sheets. But yes, I'm too deep into it. I want to start from Better Sheet and read all the way through, all the way down to the Vim in Hebrew.
Man, there's so much reading to do as well. It's like,
oh, dude, yeah.
I don't know how you have the energy for that, bro. It's respectable. Just like all that. But,
after I heard of the sword of Laban from Mormonism, reading Laban triggers that similar memory.
Most traumatized PTSD.
Yeah. Yes, I do. Yes, we do. But yeah, imagine Jack. Like we just come up and just have like my chain and just like, hey yo, let's go. Let us start from the beginning. Better sheet the better Elohim. Yeah, just jump straight into it.
Furniture starts floating.
Jump into it.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. Anyway, yes, I have. I've gone full Jew. But back to the story. 10 years. Or not 10 years, 10 times. Like it's been decades. It's been way past 10 years.
Yeah.
10 times he changed my wages. Brother, you talk about a crash out waiting to happen.
Yeah.
He is a better man than I. I would not have talking about like pre-saved Chris.
Someone would have been punished.
I was a violent man.
Yeah.
My youth. But he cheated me and changed my wages 10 times.
Brother, you're a victim, bro. Leave.
Times. What are you on about, my guy. That is brutal.
Yeah.
I would not, brother. You would not. Yeah. God did not allow him to harm me. So God is protecting him. We have all this stuff happening. And it's just insane how messed up all this stuff is happening to him. Like Laban is just the worst. It's crazy. If we spoke thus, the speckled shall be your wages, then all the flocks bore speckled. And if he spoke thus, the striped shall be your wages, then all the flock bore striped. Thus God has delivered your father's livestock and given them to me. Now it happened at the time when the flock were mating that I lifted up my eyes and saw in a dream, and behold, the male goats which were mating were striped, speckled, and molted. Then the angel of God said to me, and this is literally Melech Ha Elohim. So this Ha is literally, angel of the God. This is a very specific identification of this angel. So angel of the God is, you could read it. Very, very specific person said to me in a dream, Jacob, and I said, here I am. He said, lift up now your eyes and see all the male goats which are mating or striped, speckled, or molted, for I have seen all that Laban has been doing to you. I am the God of Bethel, where you anointed a pillar, where you made a vow to me. Now arise, leave this land, and return to the land of your kin. Well, if you remember at the beginning of the stream, who is the God of Bethel? Who was the one who appeared to him at Bethel? Yahweh. So this is the angel of God claiming to be Yahweh. Where you anointed a pillar, where you made a vow to me, and now again, a vow to me, and now arise, leave this land, and return to the land of your kin. Then Rachel and Leah said to him, do we still have any portion or inheritance in our father's house? So like they're asking this question. Our father has nothing to give us. He's poor now because you've taken all of his wealth. Are we not counted by him as foreigners? For he has sold us and also entirely consumed our purchase price, the dowry, which is what the husband pays the father in order to procure the daughters at that time period. People still do dowries now, although they're not nearly as common. The bride price was paid. Or no, bride price. Dowry is what the father gives the son, or the son-in-law, the husband. So women come with wealth to their husbands, and husbands give wealth to the father. So the inheritance goes out with them, and then the father is paid the bride price. So we're saying our bride price was paid for already. We have nothing tethering us to him, either as a father or as a guardian, inheritor, any of that. So they also are not very happy with their dad at this point, being that he's not letting them go for decades. Very kind of messed up situation. Surely all the riches which God has delivered over to us from our father belong to us and our children. Now then, do whatever God has said to you. Then Jacob arose and put his children and his wives upon camels, and he drove away all his livestock and all his possessions which he had accumulated. He acquired livestock which he had accumulated in Padan Aram in order to go to the land of the Canaan to his father Isaac. Now Laban had gone to shear his flock, and Rachel stole the household idols that were her father's. Now there's a description in... Oh, I just noticed that my handle's cracked. There's a description in the prophets of household male idols. That is not what these are. For those who do not know what those are that I'm mentioning, those are essentially pleasure toys.
Wow.
Yeah, they would be made out of wood or stone, very polished stone.
Yep.
On a rare case, they might be made out of metal, but the vast majority of them would be wood or stone, like marble or something like that, that they would polish. And then they would use it the same way women use it now, although theirs didn't vibrate.
Pigment.
What Rachel is getting here is not that. It's likely just a shrine idol that they would pray to. Kind of glad I'm just an observer for this episode.
Man, we need live Steven reaction, bro.
Full Jew, you say?
Cue the music. No.
Is it Jewish? I'm gonna go pee real quick.
Facts.
I'm struggling.
That's the longest Chris has went without peeing. That's crazy. versus versus unpleasurable toys, like brooms and shovels. The honeydew toys meant are to use to play in the game of cleaning and work. Nah, true. Yeah. Yeah, toys be toying, man. But I need to Steven, we need to get a nah, actually, never mind. I was like, bro needs a yarmulke now. But no, we won't go that far. Bro slowly morphing into a Jew. It's just like, but yeah. See what that's saying. New record, real. Read this here. Sheesh! Come on. Yes.
Anyway,
Time.
women be gooning with animals and toys since time immemorial.
Yeah.
So it's just always been happening.
Chris
Largely with
Graham.
horses.
Yeah.
Chris Graham, what is happening?
I may
Thank
or may
you.
not. Yeah.
What?
I may or may not have told Steven we probably would get you a yarmulke, but I don't know if we're gonna go that far to just complete your arc as. But nah, something's off the table. It's not happening. But
Oh, I saw this one comment that I meant to respond to a while ago. It's under wrap.
he's like, shh, can't blow
Let
our
me
coverage.
find that before we keep.
Arc.
Yes, I did get some of that. Oh, for Coltrane.
Yeah, this.
So are you saying Islam is just a bunch of Christian Jewish heresies Arabs took to heart and made a religion of it? Pretty much.
Basically.
Also Zoroastrianism, Manichaeism, Greek, pagan, because there's a lot of pagan Arab poetry and other stories and like even the satanic verses and all that stuff. Hubal, Allah, like those are all pagan things. So pagan, it's a pagan religion that adopted and accepted a bunch of other religions folklore to the point where a lot of those things like Gnostics are called like followers of Allah. They're not. Fun fact, they're not. Same with Zoroastrians in the Hadith. I believe in the Hadith that the followers of Zoroaster, or even that he himself was a prophet, like they're counted among the people of the book, the Al-Kitab.
Okay.
So,
especially since their prophet was literally a caravan robber and a trader, so he heard a lot of those stories while he was working, I guess, and he was just like traveling around. So he took influence from a lot of places. But
yes,
yeah, do we like that?
I don't know if Coltrane's still watching, but yeah, that's pretty much.
Yeah.
You can make the argument pretty
Ear
extensive,
hears,
but he just
yep.
he didn't hit the ear hears, yeah. Literally, just we need to spam the chat with ear emojis.
Yeah,
like that's free. And we can just make a subculture of ears.
Yeah, facts.
Especially on like Muslim streams if you want.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that's pretty much the point. He is just it's just straight up man-made copying, and he is copying specifically things that we know to be false. So it's not. It can't be
It's not
from
divine
prophets, can't be from
revelation.
God. Right, it's not scripture.
Yeah.
He is just copying a lot of the oral tradition that was popular at the time in Arabia. And much of it came out in like the 500s that he's copying from. So the dude just copied whatever was popular in his day, became a cult leader, and it took over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
I'm a head out. Oh yeah, the classic.
All right. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, yeah, I'm gonna head out. Thank you for having me on again. It was fun
Yeah.
to kind of chill, listen to the cooking. But yeah, man, this is
Mm.
good. What video do we have coming out this? I think you mentioned it. What we have this
Yeah.
Friday.
All the times where the Quran is stealing from Christian
Mm,
sources that also call Jesus God.
nice. Okay, okay, that's gonna be
There's a
fun.
bunch of them. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be part of the Talmudic dilemma. I was saving that towards the end, but I think now is a good time to go over that,
Mm,
especially with all like the Syriac
yeah.
legend stuff
Yeah.
happening. We'll go through that, and it's gonna be good. So that's
Yeah.
what the next thumbnail we need is,
It is.
that and the stream with bread. But
But but
yes, bread.
yeah. I actually
Yeah.
I did make one. But you can like she can verify as well if she actually likes the
Okay.
thing. But it's more of like a temporary thing, I think. I do want to work on it a bit more because
Okay.
um I feel like I should add more stuff, but I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, so for y'all, stay tuned for all these. You're gonna be working this week, bro. There's this is gonna be
I'm gonna
super
be
quite a
busy
bit.
this week.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
it's gonna
Yeah,
be quite
yeah,
a
yeah.
lot.
But
Anyway,
all right. So chat, good night. Chris, good night. May God bless you
night.
all.
I'm gonna throw a
And
cat in the chat for you.
yeah, yes, please, please. I needed this speed. I need this. But yeah. All right, people.
The spicy frog
Good
emoji
night.
can't see.
Peace out.
All right, brother.
Peace.
Uh, okay. Headphones off. My ears are red from heat and being sunburned. The yeah. What's the plan while he's gone? My ears are red. You need to send some red ear emojis in chat. Where's the cooking channel? Dude, I want to. I really want to. Anyway, I don't have time right now. It's really not that hard. You just gotta do it really fast in a really, really hot cooking apparatus. So either a really hot oven or a really hot flat top. Good night, brother. And Steven says good night. So let's get through another 2 or 3 chapters, and we'll probably call it for tonight. So then I can work on the presentation for my stream on Friday with David. We're going to go through the Israelites, a Bayesian argument for the Talmudic dilemma, and then also the new video. It's going to be a pretty cool stream. You want to check that out. But now Laban had gone to Shira's house, and he realized that the idol was gone. Jacob deceived Laban, the Armenian, by not telling him that he was fleeing, so he fled with all that he had, and he rose and crossed the river and set his face toward the hill country of Gilead. Then it was told to Laban on the 3rd day that Jacob had fled, so he took his relatives with him and pursued him a distance of 7 days' journey. And he overtook him in the hill country of Gilead. And God came to Laban, the Armenian, in a dream of the night and said to him, "Beware lest you speak to Jacob either good or bad." So God is literally threatening the red ears. Thank you. He's literally threatening him. Hey, boy, come here. You see that man? You see him? You better be careful. You better be careful. So, and Laban caught up with Jacob. Now Jacob had pitched his tent in the hill country, and Laban with his relatives camped in the hill country of Gilead. And Laban said to Jacob, "What have you done by deceiving me and carrying away my daughters like captives with the sword?" Wow, what a deceptive dude. Like, I would have crashed out so hard at this point. I'm crashing out for him. It wasn't even me for decades serving this dude. What do you mean? I'm deceiving him. Well, he was deceiving him, but what do you mean deceiving you? Brother, you have been lying to this man nonstop his entire relationship with you. The worst. Why did you flee secretly and deceive me and not tell me so that I might have sent you away with gladness and with songs and with tambourine and lyre? He already tried and you didn't let him. You talked him into staying. So, now allow me to kiss my sons and my daughters now that you have acted foolishly. It is in my hand to do evil against you. It is in my hand to do evil against you. This man he's on some drugs. What is he smoking? That Kush. Anyway. But the God of your father spoke to me last night, saying, beware of speaking either good or evil to Jacob. So now you have indeed gone away, because you have longed greatly for your father's house. But why did you steal my gods? So his biggest accusation is the theft of his gods. Then Jacob answered and said to Laban, because I was afraid, because I said, lest you take your daughters from me by force. So he did not want to have his wives taken from him, which again, this would be super evil of Laban to do, and he probably would have done it. If I had to guess, Laban kind of the worst. The one with whom you find your God shall not live. In the presence of our relatives, recognize what is yours among my belongings and take it for yourself. But Jacob did not know that Rachel had stolen them. So Laban went into Jacob's tent and into Leah's tent and into the tent of the two maidservants, but he did not find them. Then he went off to Leah's tent and found and entered Rachel's tent. Now Rachel had taken the household idols and put them in the camel's saddle, and she sat on them, and Laban felt through all the tent but did not find them. Now this is why I would love Stephen to be on the stream right now. With a quite unlikable Stephen, you can type out your chat later while I'm reading. What do you take for this story? Is Rachel an idolater, or is she trying to keep her father from idolatry? Because it's interesting. Why was Rachel not allowed to have kids? Now you could say, oh, well, God was just trying to be nice to Leah because she was unloved. Or you could say he's not, blessing Rachel because she's an idolater. Maybe it was the case that she was a polytheist. She was a pagan, and she wasn't faithfully serving him, and he wasn't blessing her womb because of that. And he eventually took pity on her and blessed her even though she was still a pagan. Which also gets into the interesting thing of choose your wife not because she's hot, but choose your wife because she has good character. And Leah seemingly has great character through all of this. She provides for him 7 children, which is insane. It's a majority. She provides more kids than 3 other women he's having intercourse with. The 3 other women he is with, that he married, are only giving him 6 kids. It's 2 per each. Leah gave him 7 kids. So it's pretty wild difference there. But Leah's being blessed. So we have this difference between the surface level beauty, enticement, desire, and all that stuff that leads into ruin, leads into stupidity, and she may even have bad character by being a pagan. And then we have Leah, who is not as desirable, but is faithful to her family, faithful to her husband, and just wants to be loved and just wants to have a relationship and a normal, happy marriage. And we don't see any form of paganism from her. So maybe she was also faithfully serving God, but she at least was a good wife. Now, she bartered with her sister for, use of their husband. And, the whole situation is kind of stupid and messed up. But we still have Leah acting more righteously most of the time. It's kind of interesting. And that might be part of the reason why Rachel was not blessed with her womb. But Stephen says, I think she was an unsteady character. She is often jealous, very emotional, and is willing to lie and steal from her father. Yeah, again, she's not giving, there's a lot of people to not like in this story, to be honest, which is pretty interesting. The part of the reliability of documents in history is, okay, does this document give embarrassing material for the person who wrote it? Because people don't oftentimes embarrass themselves with a lie. If you're going to lie about yourself, you're going to make yourself better in some way. You're going to make yourself, or you're going to downplay your own faults, your own failures. We even see this in the New Testament. Mark, who is writing, he's either writing on behalf of Peter directly, or he was just friends with Peter, and he was, he was wanting to protect Peter. But Peter's faults in Mark are downplayed. In Matthew, they're shown to be what they were. But if you read Mark's and Matthew's version of every story that has Peter doing something wrong, Mark either omits it or downplays it entirely, even though Mark has the most detailed stories of all interpersonal interactions of the 4 Gospels. Mark has by far the longest versions of every single story of the Gospels for specific interpersonal events. But when it comes to Peter, he downplays it. Why? Because he cares about Peter. He doesn't want Peter to be embarrassed. He doesn't want to show the negative things that his friend did. And you can lie on behalf of others out of care for them. You can also lie on behalf of yourself to show yourself as a better person. But whenever you're willing to show that the super dirty or super messed up or super evil things that you and your people group have done, because remember, these are the patriarchs. These are the role models. These are the heroes of the faith of Judaism, and all of them are sinners and are failures and do super messed up stuff. The 12 tribes literally go out and murder people after tricking them to circumcising themselves. That's about one of the worst things I can think of. And they did it. And it's still in the book. And the Muslims are like, oh, your book is so evil. It has, Lot and his daughters. And like, yeah, but that's evidence towards the veracity, the truthfulness of the book itself. It's evidence for the scriptures, not evidence against it. If it was whitewashed and it wasn't realistic, none of that stuff, like in the Quran, that would be evidence against the truthfulness of the book because you couldn't trust it because it's whitewashed. It's not true history. So, anyway, we might go through that story today with the circumcision. Might not, just depends on if my voice gets tired because I can feel myself. So we'll see how much longer I can go before I need to stop. But anyway, and they find them in the tent. Oh, Laban doesn't find them. Sorry, let me go back. Yes, our world absolutely does seem to hate truthfulness. Indeed it does. Now Rachel had taken the household idols and put them in the camel's saddle, and she sat on them. And Laban felt through all the tent, but did not find them. And just my brain is so cooked. Anyway, and she said to her father, "Let not my lord be angry that I cannot rise before you, for the manner of women is upon me." She's saying, "Hey, I'm on my period. I'm literally sitting on my cloth." And that is a practice that they would do. They would get these thick cloths that they would just sit on and bleed into directly because they didn't have tampons, they didn't have pads. This is essentially an ancient form of a pad. So they wouldn't get up in the presence of others because it's disgusting. If you've ever been around period blood, it is truly horrid. It's disgusting. I've been around a lot of blood in my life. Worked in a kitchen. I was the meat prepper. I did a lot of butchering of the, I broke down a lot of the carcasses. And I've been covered head to toe in blood before. I have never been so disgusted by blood as I am by period blood. It's so nasty. And that is what God describes our good works as, which is kind of wild. He says, I believe in Malachi, no, it's in Isaiah. Your good works are like filthy rags, which chapter in Isaiah is that? It's like towards the end of the book. 64:6. So that is what God is describing us as. For all of us has become one who is unclean. For all our righteous deeds are like a filthy garment. All our good deeds are like the period cloths. Please don't tell another gross story. Oh, brother, I could tell some stuff. Don't tempt me. Anyway. Going back to where we were. So now she's lying to her dad. It took days to forget the last one from a few weeks ago. Yeah, Rachel even puts Jacob in a bad situation. All this, yeah, she's not great. She hot, but she not great. Which is again, you got to pick your wife carefully. You can't just be like, oh, she good looking. Her, like, no, godly character produces godly marriage, produces goodness in the home, produces faithfulness in the home, produces love and mutual support and communication and respect and all these things that you need in order to have a marriage that actually is honoring to one another and honoring to God. That is what you need. And that is what a lot of people do not get because they're too focused on my desire for right now. That's only going to last 15 to 20 years because women do in fact age and they lose a lot of their beauty of their youth, which is just a fact. And so do guys, but we are more visual, more carnal. If you're only being vanity as your criteria for your women, in 20 years, you're going to be well past that relationship. He's already been with Rachel at least 20 years. And yet she's causing this situation. Rachel caused all of this situation to happen. And then she's lying about it. So let me not rise up before you because I'm on my menses. So he searched but did not find the household idols. Then Jacob became angry and contended with Laban. And Jacob answered and said to Laban, "What is my transgression? What is my sin that you have hotly pursued me? Though you have felt through all my goods that you have found of all your household goods, place it here before my relatives and your relatives that they may decide between us two. These 20 years I have been with you. Your ewes and your female goats have not miscarried, nor have I eaten the rams of your flocks. That which was torn of beasts I did not bring to you. I bore the loss of it myself. You required it of my hand, whether stolen by day or stolen by night." So 20 years likely is just a rounded number, or it could be literally 20 years. But Reuben is likely over 20 years older than Joseph. If not over 20 years, at least at 20 years. He is significantly older than Joseph. So whenever we read the Joseph stuff and we think about that and like all the stuff that they're doing to each other, the brothers, one of the dudes is like in his 40s or 50s. Like Reuben is a 40 or 50-year-old dude whenever they throw Joseph in the pit and he's begging for his life. So we'll let that sit in next week whenever we do the Joseph typology. That's going to be a mega stream. I'm pretty excited for it, but yeah. Pretty crazy equal no. Yeah. Yes. You are not going to be able to have very good conversation if you can't have conversation whenever she is, less attractive to you. But yeah, anyway. Oh yeah. Yeah, no, they are old people. They are significantly older than him. All his brothers are full-on grown boys. They are full-on grown men. They have their own children. They're possibly old enough to be grandfathers. And they still do that to their brother out of jealousy, which we'll get to next week. It's pretty brutal. And it's deeply related to the typology of Jesus. And it's going to be one of my favorite streams that I will ever do. Is going to be next week. So I'm more excited for that stream than I am with the David Wood stream, which is saying something. It's going to be fun. You can tell David that too and be like, hey, typology is pretty cool, dude. And he's going to call me a wingling and make fun of me and call me a nerd. It's going to be great. They have daddy issues. This is exactly why I married an ugly woman, so that she could never seem like she lost her looks. I love Steven's wife. She is such a great woman and such a strong character. I'm gonna be curious if I see something in the Discord about this later. Anyway, so these 20 years I have been with your flocks, and if a beast tore them, I bore the loss of it myself. He's being ultra righteous here. You required it of my hand, whether stolen by day or stolen by night. Which is fair. The shepherd is responsible for the sheep. Thus I was by the day, the heat consumed me, and the frost by night, and my sleep fled from my eyes, because the shepherd it's a brutal job. It's a very serious job. They have to constantly be on edge against predators. These 20 years I have been in your house. I served you 14 years for your 2 daughters and 6 years for your flock, and you changed my wages 10 times. 10 times he is changing his wages. If the God of my father, the God of Abraham, and the dread of Isaac had not been for me, surely now you would have set me away empty. God has seen my affliction and the toil of my hands, and he rendered the decision last night. So God is the reason why he's able to survive all of this in general, but 10 times that he's serving him in 20 years is wild. Like, imagine every 6 months, every 2 years, you have your boss be like, hey, yo, I'm going to change your wages to be half of what it was. It's fine. You'll be fine. And every single time he changed his wages, he did it deliberately to make Jacob poor. That was his plan every single time. He is making Jacob poor. God made him rich. What the enemy has devised against us will not prosper, and God will take care of us and prosper us, even in the face of persecution and of the enemy's schemes. Pretty based. And if the God of my father, the God of Abraham, and the dread of Isaac had not been for me, surely now you would have sent me away empty, which is, I believe, completely true. Obviously, he knows Laban, but Laban is just, again, the worst. And God has seen my affliction, and he lets him free. Then Laban answered and said to Jacob, the daughters are my daughters, and the children are my children, and the flocks are my flocks, and all that you see is mine. But what can I do this day to these daughters of mine or to their children whom they have borne? So, how many lies did he just tell right here? Well, this one is true. That one a blue one. Okay. This one is false. That's a lie. This one is false. That's a lie. This one is false. That's a lie. So, said one thing that's true, even though the daughters themselves don't consider him really a dad at this point, and the other three are just blatantly lies. Interestingly, this is like if the only way this would have been true is if Jacob was a slave to Laban, because slaves did not have the rights over their wives or over the flocks or over the possessions. If a slave was sent away, his wives would stay with the father, as would all of his possessions. So what Laban is doing here is then calling Jacob a slave, essentially. Evil. Super messed up. And he's just lying. He's either lying or he's calling him a slave. Like, those are your options. Messed up, dude. But what can I do this day to these daughters of mine or to their children whom they have borne? So now come, let us cut a covenant, you and I, and let it be a witness between you and me. Then Jacob took a stone and raised it up as a pillar. And Jacob said to his relatives, gather stones. So they took stones and made a heap, and they ate there by the heap. And Laban called it Jegar Sarutha. But Jacob called it Gilead. This phrase here is Aramaic. It is actually the only Aramaic we find in Genesis, which is pretty interesting. So this word literally means in Aramaic a heap of witnesses. Aramaic actually predates Babylon. It's a really, really old religion, or not religion. It's a really, really old language. It's a really, really old culture and people. So this is part of the evidence we have for Aram, the nation state that was conquered by the Babylonians later on in time. Their language, because the Babylonians adopted their language, they originally had cuneiform as their writing system, and they had a slightly different language system that they then adopted the Aramaic language, and they later adopted the Phoenician or the Paleo-Hebrew scripts. That's actually where we get true Babylonian Aramaic that then the Jews twist and Hebraize it. Hebraize it. They make it much more Hebrew sounding, looking, feeling, which is why like a bunch of biblical Aramaic and Targum Aramaic and Talmud Aramaic, that Aramaic is much more Hebrew than it is Aramaic, like old Aramaic or even Babylonian Aramaic, although Babylonian Jews made it, so it's, in it, but the Jews themselves have like a subgenre of the language that then became more and more dominant as Jews gained power and Babylonian lost power. Then Persian took over the kingdom whenever the Caesarians took over. So it's a whole list of things, like several thousand years of history they could go through with that. But this is the only time in Genesis, because Aramaic appears in the Bible in Genesis and Daniel, Lamentations, I think Zechariah, and Ezra. It appears in only a handful of books. You can count all the books that have Aramaic in the Bible in 2 hands. So this is Aramaic. This is also the root for Shahada. I don't know if anyone noticed that. This is literally the word for Shahada in Arabic. It's the same root. Now you just take away the tets here, or the tau, not tets, the tau here, and you get Shahada. Pretty cool. Anyway, and Shahada means witness. And what does Sadutha mean? It means witness. So this is a biblical possible origin for the Shahada, which gets into the whole thing with, Talmudic dilemma and all that stuff. We have other ways that you can maybe get the Shahada. And if it's, is it actually just an Arabic trilateral root, or, what's going on there? I'll go over all that in the book. But I have not gone deep into that topic yet. But this is literally the root for Shahada. It can be coming from the Aramaic or possibly the Syriac. And it's in Genesis. Just a cool little fun facts. So I was just reading comments real quick. Or one-handed if you use binary. What 3 fingers if you use binary? Because it would just be no, do that on stream. I'll use these fingers. So it's how the ones place. So it'll just be there you go. That's your binary for the number of books in the Bible. Or actually it'd maybe be 6. So this is your binary for the number of books in the Bible that have Aramaic in it. There you go. Look at that. All those years of computer science failed me not. I speak robot. Then Laban said, "This heap is a witness between you and me this day." Therefore it was named Gilead, Galid. In Mitzpah, where he said, "May Yahweh watch between you and me, and when we are absent one from the other. If you afflict my daughters, or if you take wives beside my daughters, although no man is with us, see God as witness between you and me." And Laban said to Jacob, "Behold this heap, and behold the pillar which I have set between you and me." This heap is a witness. This is again different. This is Yod or Yed. Ayid. Ayid. You have to have the Ayin. Ayid. A witness, and the pillar is a witness, that I will not pass by this heap to you for harm, and you will not pass by this heap and this pillar to me for harm. The God of Abraham and the God of Nahor, the God of their father, judge between us. So Jacob swore by the dread of his father Isaac. Then Jacob offered a sacrifice on the mountain and called his relatives to eat a meal. And they ate the meal and spent the night on the mountain. And Laban arose early in the morning and kissed his sons and his daughters and blessed them. And then Laban departed and returned to his place. So, interesting little passage here. So we do get later on in the Bible, all those years of history, and I became a developer. Yeah, I feel you, brother. I like to use my thumb as the ones place, but then you flip off a lot of people. And it sets a 4. Why would you even use your thumb? Why would you want to go to 16? You just got, I guess it'd be 31 total. That's let's see, Terra idol worshiper verse. It is, I believe, in Deuteronomy. I don't remember the chapter. Joshua, never mind, it was off. Joshua 24:2. After Deuteronomy. So we get this passage in Joshua that Joshua said to all the people, "Thus says Yahweh, the God of Israel, from ancient times your fathers lived beyond the river, namely Terah, the father of Abraham and the father of Nahor, and they served other gods." So we have quite explicitly here that Terah is serving other gods. This is part of the reason why they say that Abraham smashed idols, that Terah was an idol maker, and all this like legend that came about at the time of Jesus and after Jesus. So right before Jesus, there is a legend in the Book of Jubilees going through how Terah was an idol maker and Abraham burned his house to the ground. Very different than smashing idols. The smashing idols comes centuries later. But the earliest source of Abraham rejecting the idolatry of his father comes from him burning the house to the ground in the Book of Jubilees. So you have all of this stuff. 42 for what? The fingers? That would be 6 fingers. 42. Because 2 to the 6 is 64? Right? Quick math. 2 to the 8 is 256. Yeah, that should be right. 2 to the 6 is 64. Yeah. I haven't been out of uh, binary and computer architecture for that long. My binary is still up there. Anyway, yeah, I figured it was the Hitchhiker's Guide, the answer to the universe. Bruh? What's the bruh for? I know. 42 is the joke. It's the answer to the universe. I didn't know the 11 joke, though. Anyway, I knew 42, but my brain still wants to do math whenever math is available. Anyway, Terah, the father of Abraham and the father of Nahor. So this is specifically mentioning both Nahor and Abraham, the fathers, and the fact that they served other gods. But whenever we go to Genesis, in a very similar passage, we have 31, I think is what I was supposed to go to. Yeah, here. God of Abraham, okay, and also the God of Nahor, okay, and the God of their father, okay, judge between us. Well, he's not invoking 3 gods here. He's invoking Yahweh. So this would also mean that Abraham, his brother Nahor, and Terah are worshiping Yahweh. Now, they might be worshiping other gods with Yahweh, but they're at least explicitly worshiping Yahweh. So whenever we talk about, like, why did Abraham send Isaac to Laban's family to begin with, Bethuel, why did he send him to Bethuel? Well, they were worshiping Yahweh along with the other gods. He's like, oh, well, they're at least worshiping the true God. They have all these other false gods with them, but they're worshiping the true God, which is also why whenever they say, oh, I come in the name of Yahweh, they accept him. Because, oh, no, Yahweh is actually part of their belief system. And all the Muslims are like, oh, well, how could, the pagans, like, Yahweh is just Canaanite worship. It's just paganism. It's like, I mean, pagans worship the false god and the true God together all the time, and they give him different names and all these other, like, the high deity worship. If you look all over the planet, the high deities were very similar to Yahweh starting out, and they slightly changed and morphed over time in centuries of mythology and changes and different understanding of what the gods are and all that stuff. Like Zeus became way more Zeusy and way less Yahweh. But he started out pretty Yahweh. Same with like Shangdi. And then the Chinese pantheon really took off and went away from Yahweh, even though it still retains all the Yahwehism in Chinese mythology. But you just see the changes there. But it's interesting to me that there's a almost identical passage here in Joshua. And then you have the same thing, but in Joshua, they're pagans. And then here in Genesis, they are essentially treated like monotheistic, or like this is a monotheistic pledge, a monotheistic oath between them, which is kind of interesting that they're at least accepting Yahweh enough as an important deity that they're using him as the standard of their oath. I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. Spinal Tap. I do not get that, dude. Oh, okay. I have never seen 1984. I've never read the book. I have literal such small amount of knowledge on 1984. I was born after 1984, so therefore it doesn't matter. Anyway, exactly. Yeah. Thank you, brother. Good night. I'm probably also going to get off soon. Hey, 2 hours. I titled the stream 120 minutes, and we're a little past that. Then Jacob offered a sacrifice on the mountain and called his relatives to eat a meal, and they ate the meal and spent the night on the mountain. And Laban arose early in the morning and kissed his sons and his daughters and blessed them. When Laban departed and returned to his place. So then it gets into the relationship between him and Esau. How much more is it? So we get him wrestling. The Dinah story. All that. Okay. Yeah, okay. I'm skimming it as I go, so that people are confused what I'm doing. I'm just skimming the text and figuring out where I want to stop. Okay, so we have 7 more chapters to go before we actually get to the typology. I'm not going to do 7 more chapters tonight. I just don't have it in me in my throat. So we will probably end there. Are you getting sick? That's my secret cap. I'm always sick. No, I don't sleep enough, so my body is slowly rejecting me, and I need to get more sunlight, and I need to get more sleep. Even though I'm sunburnt right now, but I just need to take better care of my body, as my wife has been pestering me about for months. But yeah, I've basically been sick off and on for like 3 months now, just like light colds and whatnot. I'll be fine. I just need to get a good week of sleep and rest. It should be fine. Anyway, so yes, you have a family. I do have a family, and I do take care of my family. I just don't take care of myself. That's the problem. Okay, I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it there. Yeah. So, thank you all for coming out, for checking out. If you have any questions or comments, you can reserve them for comment section. I'll answer the best I can. I'll be streaming twice on Wednesday, once on Thursday, once on Friday, and a video on Friday too. I might put out some shorts, but next week, Monday, doing the Joseph typology, and that's going to be fun. I think I might start early and then just go and go and go and go. And we'll do significantly less tangents, because if I do tangents during the Joseph stream, it's going to be 12 hours. So we're going to just hardcore, go straight down the line, go through the Joseph typology, and it's going to be one of the deepest studies and comparisons to Christ you've ever seen. And it's baffling to me, because most like typology scholars, like typology experts, a lot of them don't even consider it a type of Christ, because it's not explicitly identified in the New Testament. So I'm going to show that the experts are stupid sometimes, and how Joseph is the single greatest type of Christ in the Bible. And I don't say that lightly. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating at all. Joseph is the greatest type of Christ in the Bible, and he is not mentioned as the type of Christ in the New Testament. So I think that is evidence towards not all of the types of Christ need to be mentioned in the New Testament, but we're going to go through that. It's going to be, I'm not kidding, it's going to be at least 6 hours. So I'll probably start at like 6 p.m. and then go to midnight or 2 a.m. and we'll just run through it. You still alive? I am still alive, but I'm about to get off. Unless, Ash, you want to talk about something real quick, but I'm going to work for a little bit, then go to bed. Or I guess you could just text me or call me if you want to talk about something. But that cough is telling me I need to go to sleep. So, oh yeah, I saw you. You started streaming well before mine. Your stream was long. I mean, mine was only 2 hours, but you started streaming before I started driving home from like my church group. So I was wanting to join yours, but I was also taking care of my kids. Whenever you started. Also, thank you for the prayers. But yeah, Ash, if you want to join the stream next week, it's gonna be fun. We're gonna do a stupidly long Joseph typology, and then I may or may not be joined with others, or I might just do it all myself so I do less tangents. We'll see. But whoever wants to join next week, they can join, and it's gonna be good. So thank you all for coming out. I'm excited. It's gonna be a pretty cool next 7 days. Lots of streaming. We're gonna do 6 more streams in the next 7 days. And yeah, may the grace of the Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with you always. Good night. You're welcome to, as well as you, Stephen, and anyone else. Maybe Christian Gadfly if he joins for a bit and get away from his newborn. But it's gonna be a good time. All right. See you guys.